Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing a tarot card reading for the Gemini season. I am a Gemini, so I feel very connected to this season. So I thought it would be a good idea for me to give a message to you. I have 5 decks here and I think that it's going to be a full reading, a full message. If you only have time to watch one of the pulls, I totally understand, and I will definitely have the timestamps down below. This one is actually having to do with anxiety, so if you struggle with anxiety, then maybe that might be a good reading for you. And this Jigglypuff that's on top of this one, it is, I consider it for child healing. Ooh, I feel like this card wanted to come out. Yeah, Dancer. And this, I forget what these are called when you take the resin and you put the copper coil. Sometimes it comes in a pyramid. The name is just lost on me right now. This one has always reminded me of like expansion and wisdom. And I did want to mention that on the table I have a tarot card that someone gifted me when I was out at a tea shop. This guy named Corey the Tea Wizard who does tarot, he actually gave me a card. It is called the Realm Bridger, and I think this is for everybody. This represents Geminis. This really represents everybody. Just because you're not a Gemini sun, Gemini moon, it doesn't matter. Even if you didn't have any Gemini in your chart, you still can feel connected to Gemini. You can feel connected to every single sign because you are, in fact, connected to every single sign. Astrology and its placements, it's just a way to understand yourself further and think, how could this apply to me? And how can I better myself? Or is this a fault of mine? Is there something that I should notice? Like for me, with understanding that I was a Gemini, I understood that I talk too much sometimes. So that was just something that I needed to work on. It was something I had to understand, that I didn't need to talk over everybody. I didn't need to constantly be proving myself with my words. It's still something I struggle with, and it was for me to understand that my words are my power, and that's why I do videos like this. So you're able to understand more about your sign through astrology and what your strengths and weaknesses might be. There's so many placements within your chart. I would definitely highly recommend going to astro.com or just finding whatever works for you to get your full chart. Even if you don't know your birth time, it's okay. Your sun sign is still going to be the same, and a lot of your other placements are still going to be the same. The only ones that would be affected really, I think, are the moon sign and the ascendant sign, and it would be very unlikely that any of the other signs would be affected. So I would just go ahead and make sure that you have that on hand, that you can always reference, so you can learn more about astrology, the placements, what each placement means, and just think of it as a learning process, similar to how you would learn tarot cards and how they can benefit you and change you and make you think outside of the box. Astrology is the same way. Rant over, but I just wanted to say that the Realm Bridger reminds me of bringing people together, which I think is something Geminis are known for. They can get along with many different types of people. And Realm Bridger also reminds me of bringing the spiritual side down. So bringing that eternal wisdom, that connected to the universe. Not to say that only Geminis do this, but I think that's something that Geminis really connect with, and that's why I have this on the table. And for pile number 4, we have the Energy Oracle cards, and I just have an amethyst cluster on top of there. Amethyst always reminds me of wisdom. It also reminds me of connections, so I have a feeling that these two, maybe even these 3, because this is an amethyst heart on the 5th one, and this has amethyst in it. So I would say maybe the last three are very connected, but in fact, this has amethyst in it as well. So I really do believe that this reading is connected. And then finally, we have the Wild Wisdom Companion that has the amethyst heart that I showed you. So maybe it has something to do with love. Maybe it has to do with like the love throughout the universe. Maybe it has to do with romantic love. We will see. Oh, I didn't even talk about what oils we have on the table. We have free. Both of the oils we have on the table are not on my website right now, but I am hoping to remake them. We have free, which is to break free from limiting beliefs, from toxic situations, from toxic people. And we have new moon, which is all about new beginnings, setting intentions for basically a brand new you, brand new life. They're part of my personal collection and they felt right for today. And then I also have 2 Gemini lighters and a calcite egg. Calcite has to do with balancing the emotions, which I think that Geminis really could use some help in that area. It's probably the reason that I pulled the Temperance card so often. And I also have a pendulum, a rose quartz pendulum, which I have never used a pendulum before. I've owned a couple pendulums, but who knows, maybe we'll use it today. And I also have a pen on the table, so I don't know, maybe we'll use that, but this pen reminds me of the yin and the yang, and Gemini obviously I feel calls in the yin and the yang, the connection to all and seeing the different sides of things, the light and the dark, and knowing it's all part of the whole. I think that that's something that a Gemini truly embodies, and something that everyone can embody during Gemini season. I must say that this circular deck is not the easiest thing in the world to shuffle, but it's still fun, you know? Oop, oop, oop. Here we go. We got Thanatos. It has hands on it. It almost has like a scary, is that a scary face? I don't know. But one thing I do know is that it has a spider web on it. It has a scary vibe, but I would say that if it was in rainbow colors, it wouldn't be such a scary thing to have a spider web and have people holding hands and things like that. I'm definitely getting a feeling here. I feel like Geminis are all about connectivity, like I had said with the Realm Bridger. It's about bringing the people together. But I think something that Geminis really struggle with as well as the rest of the world is anxiety, which is this little jar was made for anxiety. And I almost feel that this card reminds me of the feeling of anxiety, specifically social anxiety, specifically talking to others. And it's like on the flip side of Gemini behavior, talking someone's ear off, with everything a Gemini has. There's the opposite, where a Gemini will feel so withdrawn. And I think that anybody could have this mentality where sometimes they're so outgoing and they're so able to talk to people, and other times they're very in their own head and just kind of wanting to be in their own space. And I just want to say that that's okay. It's okay to want to be in your own space. It's okay to not always have the capacity to talk to others. It's okay to request others, hey, like, I need some me time right now, honestly. I'm just feeling like I need to get myself together. And then there's also the connectivity, like reaching out. It's okay to reach out and tell people, I need help. I need to talk to people. I have never really pulled this card before, I don't think. It definitely gives me like a fear running away, like you're stuck inside of this web. Someone's held you down and it's most likely you, is what I get from this card. It's with the anxiety. It really speaks to the anxiety. Thanatos means death. Ah, so the card is upside down. The card is supposed to go like this. And it looks like a sad woman. It's not technically reversed. But the opposite of death to me is life. So I think it's important to live it. And I think it's important to follow your dreams, follow your passions. At the end of the day, no one else is living your life but you. So you need to make sure that you like it. It doesn't matter if your mom or your dad or your sister, your brother, or your best friend, or anybody in your life doesn't like something. It's important to accept people's advice, especially those close to you. But if it truly doesn't align with who you are, then it's okay to deny that, to deny other people's visions for your life. It is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. So it's saying that no matter what kind of death you experience, whether that's the death of a loved one, which can of course give you so much anxiety, thinking that someone else might be taken away from you again, just thinking how life will never be the same. But there's also death of phases of yourself that can be grieved. There's death of things that you should have had but you didn't get to have, like a loving parent or a safe situation. There's other things that can be grieved, other deaths that exist, not just the death of a life, but the death of a phase. And it's okay to grieve that. It also, of course, is mentioning that the balance of birth and death exists. And I think sometimes people get really caught up that death is a bad thing, right? And how could there even be a God because there's cancer? How could there even be a God because there's such hate in the world, right? But this comes back to the yin yang and something that I deeply believe, a message I feel I can tell you as a Gemini. Maybe not all Geminis think the same way as me, but I believe that it is all here because of the balance, because of if there's so much love, there's so much hate. And to experience it all and think of the world if the mushrooms didn't eat it all up and no one ever died and the world was just filling with people and animals and everything. Nothing was ever decaying. It all just existed. That would be hell in its own way. Each vision of the reality may have some bad to it. I do believe that there is an all uplifting place in the universe. I do. I believe that that would be maybe what some people would call heaven. And just as there would be a completely and entirely uplifting place in the universe, there would be a completely horrible and terrible place. And I happen to believe that we live in a place that has both in an almost if not perfectly equalized balance. I think sometimes it wavers, but it's always trying to go back to that balance of darkness and light. When you view life like this, it makes things that are so horrendous and awful to others, like death, I view it as, it's said, don't bring it down to just being transformation. That's one of the ways I view it as. It's just something that happens as a part of this life. It's not evil, you know? That's how I view death. It's not evil. It had to happen, right? We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of the living eventually, with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world. One who has faced the annihilation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. So it's saying that through death and through the most unspeakable and awful things you can think of, that is how you are healed. That is how you gain the wisdom. That is how you are able to heal others. And that is how you are able to be like a phoenix out of the ashes, having gone through those difficult things and rising up. When reversed, it is a fear of old age and illness and people dying. And when it's upright, it's grieving, mourning, bearing witness to all that is. And I believe it's a little bit of both. I think there's people here that have experienced either or and both. I mean, it has anxiety as the signifier for this, so there's definitely a fear of old age, fear of those close to you passing away. It is a part of it. It's a phase. It's not just transformation. It's all that is. And to go through that is to, like it says, to bear witness to all that is. To see the deep pain, the deep agony, to feel that deep grief is something that everyone will go through. It is a part of the whole. It is a part of the range of emotions that people go through. And you come out on the other side. And yeah, you might have some anxiety, but that's something that you're going to be able to work through. And that's something that you can come to terms with. And I want to say that's something I feel you can come to terms with through spirituality, through digging deeper about what you believe. Where do people go? How does their spirit exist? Can you feel them after they're gone? Do you believe that you'll be able to communicate as a soul to the people that are important to you when you pass on? Those are all things that you should be thinking about. Get a clear understanding for what you believe. I find it much more heart-filling to believe that we are all one and we are all connected like this web that is shown, that our souls are never really taken out of that bond of everything that exists. It makes everything so much lighter to know that when those most important to me pass away, that they're really still there. I love believing that. There are those with a great gift for navigating Thanatos energy. Thankfully, we find these generous souls in emergency rooms, hospitals, hospice centers, and the like. Thank you to those who work with the sick and the dying. From all of us to you, we are endlessly grateful for the work that you do. It says, facing death leads us to the truth. That's right. That's true. That's something I've gone through. I've faced death a couple times in my life. And when I was there, I was in bad places, very bad places in my life. And I came out on the other side of those near-death experiences thinking, I need to get my life together. I need to do something, anything. I need a change. Like, new moon is on the table. It's time to make a change. It's time to say, I'm no longer living like that. I am going to be the phoenix out of the ashes. I think there's a lot of different people in this group. I think there's people that deal with death and the dying on a daily basis. I think there's some people that have an immense fear of death or their loved ones passing away. And I think that there's people that are going through a grieving experience, a loss, and they're going to come out on the other side of that being completely changed, being completely a different person, so much wisdom, so much just like a calmer sense to who they are from having gone through that. People that don't quite understand why the world works the way it does, why they see things as very evil, as very bad. Why is it here? Why is it on this earth? I think there's some people there as well. And hopefully we're going to get some answers on how you can cure this anxiety. I have already mentioned your thought processes, your beliefs make a huge impact on how you go through losses, how you deal with those fears, and how you deal with maybe working in that type of situation on a daily basis. And I hope that the rest of this reading gives us some more information about that. I think I'm just going to move on to the next card. I know that was a little bit downer, a little bit sad, talking about death, but that is a reality. That is something that we deal with. That is part of life. And that's the Gemini way. The Gemini way is to accept all pieces. It's not all light. It's not all fun and games and happy, fun, smiling stuff all the time. We like to bring it. We like to bring the fun. We like to bring the vibes. We like to have a good time. But it's important to talk about those subjects. It's important to talk about death. It's important to talk about the way that it makes you feel. How does death make you feel? Do you want to run? Do you want to crawl out of your skin? I think it would be important to do a journal about that, depending on what subject really is important to you. You know, maybe you work with people that are sick on a daily basis, and you can say, how can I protect my energy while still giving wonderful, good, caring energy to these people? How can I keep my head straight? How can I make sure that I'm not getting really emotional about these people so that I can't do my work properly? And let's say that you have a fear of death. You can say, how can I work through this fear of death? What types of thought processes should I have? How can I change my viewpoints? What beliefs do I have about death? What happens to us? Do you believe in reincarnation? It's good to get these feelings out on paper. If you have gone through grieving, I would definitely always recommend talking to a close friend that also knew that person. That is always a good way to go about it. But if you don't have anybody in this moment, you can also journal. You can also say, what does this person want me to know? How can I grieve? How can I grieve in a healthy way? Ask, journal. And if you're not going through all of that, I think it's just the gravity of death. It exists for all of us. I will die someday. You will die someday. That's something that we need to understand. We only have how many days on this earth? Let's make them count. Let's do something wonderful. Let's enjoy our life. Let's enjoy it. Let's have the most fun. And clean up the earth while we're at it. Because are you really going to sit here on this earth when you only have a finite number of days and not love everybody that you could love and share and spread joy and enjoy the things that you do? Actually be creative and feel fulfilled and go through all of those other emotions too, but make sure you set it up so that you're having a lot of fun and good days. Because that is the message from a Gemini. We like to have a good time. Have a good time with your life. Have a good time with your life. I'm getting a non-alcoholic beer so we can move on from that. Yeah, we got down in the dumps. We got a little crazy there, okay? I got this non-alcoholic beer, Athletic Brewing Company. So good. I like the IPA one, but I had to get this one this time, and I'm not mad about it. Okay. One thing I see a problem with is that I didn't light my candle. Let's anoint this candle with new moon. And let's anoint this with free. Okay. And let's use my Gemini lighter. And then I think we can talk in a fast, happy, fun way. This little Jigglypuff that represents childhood healing, childhood trauma. Maybe we're getting into some dark stuff too, but like I said, you can't keep it all light. The dancer, the world has a lot to do with this first card that we were talking about. It's the cycle, it's the everything. Everything's connected. There's ups and downs. You can see on this card, it has baskets of food. It has handmade items. And it has people dancing in a circle in the whole world. This card is about seeing that vision for the future. See that vision where people are working together. See that vision, even step into that vision. Say, where are the local community markets? Where is there a place that I can volunteer for a neighborhood garden? Can I volunteer at the food bank? Try to see that vision that you want for the future and see how you can step into it. How can you be a part of that vision? And it's called the dancer. And I just want to say, I said we like to have fun. This section is for your child. I need you to dance. I need you to move your body. Please, this is a message from the Geminis. Please, don't be so stagnant. When you hear something that makes you want to move, it doesn't matter if you're in Target. It doesn't matter if you're at the DMV. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're at the airport. You should be getting down. Because it does not matter what other people think. In fact, you are raising the vibration of the space when you move your body. Move your body. Your child, your inner child wants you to. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to move the energy around so it's not stagnant. Open the windows. Put on your favorite tune. Please. See how you can be part of that beautiful vision. With this first card, we're talking about how you think, oh, what the heck, this world is so sick, is it not? It is. It is. There's so many horrible things on this planet. And I still see the beauty, and I still see how amazing it is that we can even breathe, that we even have trees on this earth, that everything is balanced in a way that we can breathe. That is so perfect. It's divine. It couldn't have happened without a little bit of perfection sprinkled in, right? So it's almost like all of this bad stuff was really supposed to happen. Maybe we're on a journey, you know, like it said with the first card, when you face the worst things, as a society, as an earth, as a human race, we're facing the worst things so that we can become more wise, so that we can talk to each other in a different way, so we can communicate. When we've all gone through a collective pain, like the pandemic, like war, then we can come together. We can help each other. There's a reason why everyone came together. Because of the horribleness. Because of the pain. Some of the worst times in my life showed me that people come together during those times. And life changes because of it. And maybe it just seems so slow when we're in the middle of it. But really, human race has been dealing with this for a couple thousands of years, and we might live for hundreds of thousands of years, then maybe we're just going through a dark phase emotionally, a dark phase physically. But when we turn and look at that phase, when we turn and actually deal with it and actually come together from all these bad things that happen, bad, right? We're going to become different human beings. We're going to evolve. Humans are evolving. They are becoming more emotionally mature. They are becoming more connected, more understanding. Maybe they can speak with just the look of an eye, with just the motion of a hand. They are using things like the internet to store mass amounts of information that can constantly be accessed. And knowing that, we know we don't have to store as much here. We can spend a lot more of our brain power on things like human connection. And checking the energy is something that I've really noticed. Is that humans are learning to see the energy that they're walking into based on the faces, based on the hand movements, based on everything about the room that you walk in. Music. Is there no music? What's the lighting? Is there tenseness? Are people turning away from each other? People are really, really becoming more aware. It takes time. Not everyone is going through this exact process, no. But it's something that we're moving towards. That's what I'm getting from this. It's something that we're moving towards. And also, it's important for you to go back to your child self, and say, I love you. Do you want a hug? What happened today? Is there something you want to talk to me about? And continue to ask questions. Be curious. Your inner child is right here inside of you. Every day. It doesn't go away. Every single age. Your yesterday self is right there inside of you. Everybody is right there inside of you. All at once. And you can talk to that. You can access that information. That divine information. I've even had it where I was speaking to my higher self and my younger self at the same time, and asking my higher self to facilitate me in talking to my younger self, because sometimes I don't know exactly what to say. The present is my point of power. All light, all love, all energy pass through me now, creating ongoing beauty, balance, awakening on the path towards infinite bliss. From death, the pause of perfect peace, I am born to dance on top of the world. Yes. Something that I believe is that when we die, we are stripped of all the pain, all of the heaviness of the human body. We are just light, we are just energy after that. That's the perfect peace. And I believe that in a way we almost review the lessons that we've learned, and then we figure out maybe with our spiritual team where our soul is going to go to next. Maybe we'll live a similar life, maybe we won't be on earth, maybe we'll be in a different time. And I believe that all the time frames are existing all at once. That's really what I believe. I believe it's all happening right now. And that means that the present moment is everything, right? I'm always going to say this. That's your point of power. That's what it says. All light, all love, all energy. Creating ongoing beauty, balance. Awakening on the path towards infinite bliss. So that is where we're heading. You can see the people dancing on top of the world. That is where we're heading. We are heading towards bliss. And one place to find this bliss while we're waiting for the world to catch up to a completely blissful way of living is to find it in ourselves, in our peace, in accepting of the present moment, in accepting of the way that the world is now, and seeing a vision for a brighter future, stepping into that vision by our actions and by our beliefs. I am cosmic consciousness, awareness in the now, of many forces at work on every plane of existence in and beyond this world. In a sense, I am what has been referred to as the New Age, when all is in balance and everyone lives in peace and harmony, recognizing their oneness with each other. I am the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. Yes, so people are understanding their oneness. They're waking up to their divinity. That is the way that the human race is evolving. We are on this path. And I believe that I pulled this card in one of the last readings that I did for everyone. I'm going to link that down below. It was a similar reading, a general reading for everyone, and it said really that we are growing, that we are moving towards good. That is what we're moving towards. We are moving towards peace. We are moving towards harmony. The message is coming out again. There is no mistaking it. And in the Gemini season, there's a focus on balance. There's a focus on the dark and the light combine to make the whole. It is not just one or the other. And that's okay to accept that in this moment. Maybe there will be more balance and harmony when people all know their oneness, right? And all know that they have faults, and all have more emotional control and are able to communicate better with one another. Yes, there may be a more peaceful sense of realities. Humanity as a whole may move towards that, but that doesn't mean that we can't find peace in the moment that we have now. Just because we're told that this new age, this future will exist, we must step into it now. We cannot wait for some outside thing to happen. I am the sign that all have learned to work with nature, using the laws of nature to benefit all. The streams and rivers flow, turning the water wheels. The wind gives its power to windmills. The sun warms homes and gives light. Each element is being recognized for its worth and utilized in beneficial ways. So, you are now given a task. Work with the earth. Do as much as you can to be good to the earth. Please. Recycle. Pick up trash when you see it. Join that community garden. Go to the food bank. It's not just about the earth, it's about the people of the earth. I have lights. That is so awesome. I have lights that are on solar, sitting right behind. And the solar lights just turned on when I just said that. Use solar lights. Use those forms of wind and water power. That is what the earth and the message of the divine wants to say, and that is not the first time it said it. In fact, it's been saying it since the second that I've been getting messages. Be good to the earth. It houses the people. It is good to you, and therefore you be good to her. Treat her as an energy, treat her as another person, give her love, give her thanks, give her gratitude. Now we have the Wild Unknown Tarot. Here we go. These two. Yep. Ooh. That's awesome. The 10 of Pentacles. It's actually reversed, but it's just a wonderful card. And the Daughter of Cups. And the 10 of Pentacles is just bliss, communication. It's just getting everything that you need. The Daughter of Cups is a very creative and emotional soul. She doesn't like dealing with any harsh realities, which is something that I definitely can be like. I speak and talk about all of this stuff like, ooh, gotta talk about death, gotta talk about those negative things, but in reality, I don't even like to watch TV shows that are too gory or anything that is like very dark in nature. I like to try to keep things light. It's been something I'm working on, honestly, because I shouldn't be so disturbed by the realities, especially things that are literally fake on television. Things happen though. Those things I see on television, a lot of the time, if it's somebody being shot or something like that, like those things happen, So it's just, I think that's something that Tarot's calling out. And just calling out being very creative, and I think making money from creative endeavors as well. I think that that's something that I do, and I don't know if that's something that's like related to Geminis as a whole, but I do feel like most Geminis I meet are like super creative, artistic people, and I think that it's really fun to make money from something that you've created, whether that's product, music, painting, you know, whatever it is, even if you have a completely different style mind, like maybe it's code, maybe you create your own code. That's still creative. That's still an art form, if you didn't know that. I think some people don't think of their art form as art, but it is. What you do is art. Making drinks is art. Taking care of people's art. Making tables is art. Even just doing anything is art. Be generous not only with your money, but also with your wisdom. Provide guidance to those who struggle. You will be rewarded tenfold. I think because this card reversed, there's definitely a possibility that you've been lacking in material and spiritual abundance lately. That's definitely possible. And it tells you exactly how to do this. It says, be generous with your wisdom, maybe even your money, maybe even your time, but definitely be generous with your wisdom. That's like what I'm doing right now. Or just talking to a friend that needs your help. And it came out here with the Daughter of Cups, so having to do with creative endeavors and emotional control. So there's ways that you can help people with their creative endeavors, like we had talked about, all those different things that can be considered art. And then you can also help people with emotional control. That may be something that you'll be able to talk to people about. This will bring you great fulfillment. To help others, to give them wisdom, to give them your time, your energy, to teach them how to balance their emotions, or to do your own research. You know, on the flip side of that, if you can't teach someone how to balance their emotions, maybe you need to teach yourself how to balance your emotions. Do that research, but either or, whether it's doing the research or helping someone else, doing this process of teaching someone what you know is going to fulfill you so much. It's going to light up your soul. It is like spreading, let's bring it back to this web. It's like you're making those connections, you're helping others, you're making there be a community feeling. So try to bring that into your life. Try to bring, like I said in the very beginning, I'm really getting a feel for markets, for a community garden. Community garden is coming to mind so heavily right now. That sort of energy, to join something like that, to be a part of something like that, something very creative, cultivative, good for the community. It is important that you are stepping into that. That is part of the evolving that we're doing as a society, is having these small, intentional, positive, uplifting community spaces. And it's being called out to you to be a part of that. And I think that that's everything that I wanted to say for these two cards, the Ten of Pentacles reversed and the Daughter of Cups. I still feel with the Ten of Pentacles, even though it's reversed, I still feel like you're going to be making money, you're going to be expanding, you're going to be completing something. It's just a cycle. I mean, we had the World here. That is a cycle. 10. We have 10 of Pentacles, you know, that's a cycle. That's the last And then we have this round card with this web. It feels very much like a cycle is being completed. That is what is happening. Okay, and I'm going to move on to the energy oracle card and this amethyst. Ooh, door to romance, goddess of the moon. Oh, oh, oh. Well, look at that. Those came out. Okay, goddess of the moon and door to romance. So that's exciting. Door to romance is right next to this love crystal, so I definitely think those two are connected. I don't think I've ever pulled either of these cards, but it's really awesome that we got goddess of the moon and we have new moon on the table. So definitely think it's important to be setting those intentions on the new moon. The new moon for the Gemini season is June 18th. The new moon will be in Gemini, so I definitely recommend setting some intentions. We have amethyst on the table, and I feel Gemini has a lot to do with your wisdom and your intuition. So if you have any intentions you want to set with your intuition and your wisdom to grow, if you want to feel more connected to the moon, if you want to go outside and kind of have a talk with the moon telepathically, out loud, it doesn't matter how you do it, but connect to the moon, become that goddess of the moon. The Gemini energy is calling out to you to feel very connected, not just to the moon, to the stars, to the sun, to the earth, to the mountain, to the trees, to the sky, everything. Feel very connected. This whole reading is about feeling very connected. Intuition, going within. This card shows an eternal spirit holding the bright reflective moon. This card is all about intuition, the ability to receive insights from your soul's point of view. Receiving this card upright tells you that you have the power to get intuitive information on all types of issues, and now is the time to use it. Yes, please. Not just to ask the new moon to gain a more understanding of your intuition, but to just use it right now in the present moment. If you have a question, if you need any help whatsoever, like we've talked about in these previous cards, you can journal it and ask a question and receive an answer directly from spirit. Like some people, they'll do just like question and answer. That's how I do it. They'll do bullet points. Some people do a whole letter to their higher self and get a higher self letter back. You can also just talk directly in your head. But for those deeper questions, really about blockages that you're having, about how to make your intuition stronger, then I think it really is beneficial to write it out. You have that ability now. You have the capability to ask. I usually get the message right here, rather than I feel like it's my ears, and you feel where your thoughts are coming from. Get in tune with your body. Is it soft voice when it's your intuition? Do you notice that certain things are really good advice coming from inside of you? Try to tap into that. Ask yourself, higher self, can I talk to you? Can you speak through me? The goddess of the moon brings you all sorts of information, from the mundane to the spectacular. Yes, your intuition will tell you everything from what socks to wear that day to where to move. Your intuition will tell you everything, and it is important that you listen. And I will always say this, your intuition can change. It could say, wear that green shirt, and then you put the green shirt on and said, no, put the orange shirt on. And you're like, you just told me to put no, just do it, just listen. Things might change. Just listen. Just keep following the messages. They have never led me wrong. Truly have never led me wrong. You can have everything you want. For instance, you could get the urge to take a different route home from work and find out later that you've avoided a 3-hour traffic jam, or you got to see a beautiful rainbow. It's good and the bad. Or you might have an idea for a great invention, a stock investment, or a spellbinding novel. This card could indicate a significant blossoming of psychic ability and mediumship, even on a professional level. Did you hear that? So, if you're watching this, really, really dive into that. You may already be at a professional level. You may already even be practicing. Maybe doing something online, maybe doing TikToks about what you're doing, or maybe you're just getting started. It doesn't matter where you're at with your intuition. Keep diving further in, keep doing more research, keep asking yourself, keep believing in yourself, trusting in yourself. Always, every day, laying that foundation of trust between you and your inner self, your higher self, however you want to call it. Next, we have door to romance. I mean, that's just obvious. If you're looking for love, you're going to find it. That's for sure. It has a heart out of it. The cage is open now. Well, no, the cage isn't open. The heart is on the outside of the cage, and there's a key next to it. The doors are opening. So the door to your heart is open, but I feel like you still need to unlock the heart. Like, there's a key next to it. It's still in a cage, and I still feel like there's a little bit you need to do to open yourself up to the idea of romance, of having a really solid and wonderful foundation with somebody. This really would be specifically for people that are looking for love. But this is really awesome because I don't usually get really specific cards that say, like, you're going to find love. So whoever's watching this, you are going to find love. I promise you. I really don't get things like this very often. Whether you're looking for a new relationship or just more love in the relationship you're in, this door with a heart opens into new beginnings. This door with a heart opens onto a new beginning in your experience. A new love may be arriving, and you are just being brought together by a strong, resonant connection. This may be a call from a past life, or maybe new tenderness about to bloom into the heartfelt connection. This relationship already exists in energetic potential. So when this card appears in your spread, make sure you are projecting this kind of self-loving energy that you want to receive from others. Be aware that the universe returns your self-caring treatment to you. Is it ready to open that door? It's ready to open that door. Are you? Very important. You have to give yourself love. You have to know what you deserve. You have to know how you want to be treated in order to find those people that are going to treat you right. You have to treat yourself right. You have to put that self-care and love into yourself. Make yourself look really good. Make yourself feel really good. Make sure you're cleaning yourself, doing all the hygiene practices you possibly can. This time right now is for inner work, is for setting those new intentions, for trusting your intuition, and for giving yourself lots of love. You could just come upon the love of your life very soon, in the next month. It is possible that you are going to be budding this new love. So make sure that you're feeling right, looking right, and getting out there. I know I said it's an internal time, but I think it's kind of a flip switch. It's like you're internal, you're in, you're doing this work, and you also need to be getting out of your house as well. So there is a balance there. Okay, and moving on to the fifth and final stack that has this purple amethyst heart. This is from the Wild Wisdom. I think this is it. The moon. Wow. Could that not be any more perfect? It says winter solstice, but I still feel like We have the goddess of the moon here and the moon. So, and also we have this blue calcite, which talks about the emotions. The moon has to do with the emotions. And even in the center pile here, we talked about how working on your own emotions and helping others to work on their emotions will be extremely beneficial and make you feel fulfilled. So let's see what the moon, the winter solstice, says. Once upon a time there was a door, and in the door was a window. The window was small and decorated with a tiny grid of metal bars styled like rose vines. That's so weird because in this card we have a door, and then it talks about a grid of metal. It's very similar to how the heart is being housed. So it's like the emotions are being housed in these layers. You can see it on the card as well. It's like being enveloped. And with the wings there, it's like metamorphosis. It's transforming. Your emotions are changing. You're changing about how you deal with the emotions that come up. Do you fight them? Do you say, stop, 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 I don't want to feel this? Or do you feel it? You feel it deeply and get curious as to why you're feeling it and where you're feeling it in your body. On the night of the winter solstice, the moon would come to the door, put her eye up to the window, and peer inside. The moon's brightness would fill the interior, lighting spaces usually hidden. That's definitely talking about shadow work. It's definitely talking about digging deep within, just like most of this reading has been talking about. Doing that work, asking yourself the correct questions.
No kisses. You can sit with.
The moon reminds you to turn inward and explore the nooks and crannies of your heart and soul. As I said, it's your heart, your emotions, and your inner spirit that's being held within these places. This is a moment to let the noise of the outer world fall away and only be with yourself. Perhaps you've forgotten how. Perhaps you spend so much time living outside of your skin that the interior spaces feel odd or dusty. Shh, the moon soothes. Let there be light within you. So it's definitely talking about getting inside of your body, feeling your bodily sensations, getting inside of your head. What are you thinking about? How can you work with your thoughts and emotions and what arises within you? It wants you to spend more time on your inner landscape rather than trying to change the world around you. This is a time to come to know yourself without judgment or purpose. This is a time to curl into the cocoon of your own being. Write yourself a love letter. That's what that love crystal was for. Grab a blanket and some paper. Use this moment, whether it is the actual winter solstice or a personal winter solstice, to write a love letter to your own heart. Love yourself in totality. Find sweetness in idiosyncrasies and charm in your own foibles. So it's saying to do a love letter, which is funny because I actually said to write a letter to your higher self and then write a letter back. So that really could be something that you want to do. Write a letter to your heart, to your spirit, to your emotions, and then even write a letter back from them to see if you can find some deeper things about yourself within the crevices, within the cracks, the shadow work, as they call it. What about yourself do you not understand yet? Try to understand it. And it says you're finding sweetness in the little simple things. You're finding charm in your own mistakes. You're being more understanding to yourself. You're loving yourself in fullness. And it said idiosyncrasies, so idiosyncrasies. So that's talking about coincidences, right? So those little coincidences, they're not necessarily coincidences. They're really actually important. So definitely notice those, and that could be your intuition speaking to you as well. Tuck this in a place that you'll read it randomly to remind yourself. I just think it's funny because it says door to romance, but I think that a lot of this romance has to do with the romance that you're going to have for yourself. Really finding that deep connection in loving yourself. It's not egotistical or bad to think that you're awesome, to think that you're a great person. In fact, it's a good thing. And I think that that is the whole reading. Definitely start loving yourself. Do some of those practices like writing letters or journaling. Get in touch with the moon. Set those intentions. Follow your intuition. Know that we are moving towards peace and harmony, and try to figure out how to work through that grief or that feeling of fear towards death. That's definitely something that you're going to be working on in the next month. And I think that that's everything I have for you all today. I'm going to leave all of the decks that I use down below, as well as my website, where you can reach out to me if you would like me to do a personal reading on you. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.